Are you a psychic, sensitive, or seeker who wants to learn more? Welcome to the Mystic School with SARA WISEMAN, where we dive deep into all things mystic and metaphysical. Here's Sarah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mystic School. I am very glad to be with you here today on Valentine's Day 2023, the time of this recording. And it's interesting, I sort of deliberately chose a topic for today that was not going to be about this idea of romantic love and hearts and chocolate and so forth. Because I'm really aware that not everybody's partnered, and not everybody wants to be partnered, and even those that are partnered are really not necessarily into the collective marketed experience of what Valentine's Day is all about. If you're in a lovely romance or partnership with somebody, enjoy that. If you're not, don't get all wrapped up into this idea that someone needs to I'm sorry, I'm not a very romantic person, and also I'm most definitely not romantic about things that are marketed to me by giant corporations telling me this is how I'm supposed to do my idea of romance or love. I'm just really against this idea that partnerships or love relationships or any kind of love has to follow anything that society tells us, whether it's from church or that type of background, or whether it's more from what we tend to think of as the bigger churches, which is companies and organizations and businesses just telling us, here's how you do it. If you don't bring somebody this, you don't love them or you don't care from them. There's lots and lots of ways to love and to be in love. And, we don't need to put limits or ways that this has to happen. So we're not talking about the romance today because I'm just not really that into it. Hopefully a lot of you guys out there are nodding your heads like, yeah, please don't bring me a giant heart full of candy. I'm not interested in that. Just, if you love somebody, and I don't mean just romantic love somebody, if you love somebody, call them up, say hello, give them a hug if that's what you do. Spend some time with them and really experience the actual practice of love as an action. Help somebody move something, bring somebody some food, do the actual practice of love as an action. Listen to somebody, show up, be supportive, open your heart, heal a grudge, like all these ways that we can show love without buying into what's in the supermarket aisles right now today. So today we're talking about how does wisdom survive? Learn the value of generational wisdom to the soul collective. And it's a little bit different topic. And we're also, of course, having free readings Tuesday. And I invite you to call in to 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569 for a free reading on whatever is going on in your life. I see you've got a caller waiting, and we'll get to them in just a moment. So again, 888-298-5569. I wanted to remind you guys, we are registering actively for Spiritual Psychic Spring 2023, which is our Intuition University. It's direct training in psychic development and spiritual awakening, and I work directly with you guys for an 8-week session. So that is on the website, sarawiseman.com. I want to talk about this idea of how does wisdom survive briefly. Learn the value of generational wisdom, because it's very interesting. Like, we tend to think, oh, the ancestors, the ancestors had this wisdom. And so sometimes that's true for those of you who do mediumship practices or generational karmic healing or connection with the ancestors of your own family lineage or from perhaps the region or place that you live in. And so there's a lot of ups and downs, not ups and downs, there's a lot of variation because some ancestor groups are tremendously wise and have a lot to offer, especially if you've got some ancestry groups like maybe from the land you live in or people that have been around for centuries and centuries and centuries. Then you've got other ancestry groups that are maybe more like your relatives, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and going back, and you realize there may, but there also may not be a lot of collective wisdom. There may have been your ancestry may have been a bunch of young people who had kids really young and had to scrabble and fight and struggle to even survive, and then they died at age 30 or whatever the age span was for them. And so you go back to a couple generations of this, very young people dying how we'd consider really young, having children really young, maybe having lots and lots and lots of children because there wasn't birth control in those generations, scrabbling and struggling. And then you add in a layer of the dominant societal wisdom at the time, which probably was a religion or a church or a country or some other giant organization that was running sort of the ideas of the time. Then you throw in maybe your lineage was, they were so busy surviving or starting a new life in a new land, they really never got any education. And suddenly you realize you have all these ancestors who kind of have the wisdom up to about age 30 or age 50. And a lot of the ideas that we're now sharing, they didn't have those ideas, or a lot of this cross-pollination of the world as a collective source of wisdom with internet and other ways of doing things, they didn't have that. And so we realized that perhaps our ancestry, perhaps our biological ancestry groups, depending, you may have very wise ancestors, but I'm just opening the conversation that generational wisdom may or may not be all that. It may be quite limited, and it may be quite based on a lot of really stunted misbeliefs that weren't really examined. And so I want you to look at this, and instead of putting ancestors on this pedestal, go ahead and look at the situation that these people that you came from went through, and what they were doing, and what they were exposed to, and how far you think they got. When I go into my ancestral group, in terms of like going in mediumship, they're just so happy to not be poor anymore. They're just running around discussing, the poverty that they were in. And they don't have a lot to say. They're just so happy to be free of that suffering. So anyway, just go into your own ancestry. It's very easy. You just start going into meditation and calling them to arrive in, and see if they have wisdom. And then don't be worried if they don't. They may just be quite young, already reincarnated again for the next round. You may be the one who is gathering wisdom in this lifetime. You may be the one that is pioneering in your thought, in your belief system, in your spirituality outside of, dominant mainstream thought, in your individual relationship with the universe. Now, I don't know if your ancestors had this or didn't, but I would love to just open the conversation to the idea that maybe they didn't. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that's come down through all this biology, and here you are now, soul, awake, open, connection with the universe, and you are the one to take things further. We are the next step in human evolution. Of course, we're the next step. We're the most recent, right? The people that come after us will be more evolved, more awake, more aware. But here we are, more evolved than our ancestry groups, gonna live longer, just that. I mean, we may not all live longer, but as a collective, we're gonna live longer. And just living longer gives us a little more chance to do working on our stuff in a lifetime. Just gives us a few more decades to sort of season and learn some stuff. Anyway, just look at this. Just look at this. Remember also, for those of you who are a little bit, is a little more esoteric in this, the ancestors are not guides or angels. The ancestors are the departed. They come from, they're in a different dimensionality, but they do not have the wisdom of the guides or the angels. They are they're more along the level of us as humans. So everything you receive from them, you take with a grain of salt, because again, they're not the most elevated beings. The elevated beings are who we go to for actual help and guidance. But for our ancestors, we're just going in there to heal karma, to see what happened, to understand their story in a different way, or a little bit more clearly. Anyway, this is an interesting topic. If you're interested in going pretty far into your own ancestry, go to SARAWISEMAN.com, and on the courses page, there's a course called Heal Your Family Karma. That's a really great way to go into that ancestry and sort of look at everything that's there and connect and heal and get that all sorted out. Alrighty, we're going to go to the phones, and it looks like we have a caller. You can also call in for free readings Tuesday at 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569. It looks like we have Erin calling from Utah. Erin, welcome.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Yeah, so how can I help you out, or what's been going on for you?
Yeah, so what's coming up is I feel like I'm in this kind of a fluxy transition space where I'm kind of have started and I'm about to step into a bunch of new. So whether like in work, and I guess in day job and in like life's work, and just kind of how I exist and show up and interact with people. And I noticed some like hesitancy. I'm really excited for this like new chapter. And also I feel like I could appreciate, I'm curious about having some awareness around something like I'm getting in my own way a little bit, and I'm wondering, yeah, I don't know, just I'm open to whatever comes up, I guess, of this, like, just how I can support myself or how I can be supported as I sort of step into this new thing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it seems, so we've worked together in the past, and so I'm sort of just tracking into like your energy or vibration then, or kind of what was happening in general, not detail wise, but just energetically, like kind of where you were. And it feels like what's about to take shape is incredibly good. And to not really, like, there's always that hesitation or that, well, for me, freaking out when things are going to change, right? Just like my freak out. But you can have your freak out, but it doesn't change the trajectory of like, this is all really positive and it's going to take you quite a bit further than you expected. So you can like kind of trust what's ahead. Like it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a mistake. There aren't going to be big pitfalls. It's pretty smooth sailing for quite some time. What is that? Just knowing that, how does that kind of help
Oh,
you
it feels like
relax?
yeah, my whole body. It feels like taking a big breath. I think that feels so true. Like I think, yeah, there's fear around all the what ifs, and that stuff feels really good to like know that I can be with, like trust myself and trust what's coming. Um,
It,
yeah.
it also feels like it's the culmination of a lot of things you were trying to create the last couple of years, and it hasn't all been put together like you thought, but it's actually
Mm-hmm.
going to be better than you could have put together. It's like the universe has gone in and worked
Oh,
on
that's
your
great.
favor. Yeah. The only
Okay,
thing,
cool.
the
That
only
that
things
makes
that
a lot of sense.
yeah, the only things that I see, so like uh, in a previous group, we just worked with a river meditation. So I kind of have that on my mind. But um, in looking at, like, I see a river is very smooth, it's very easy. And then what I see is the need to like do some energy management, um, not like hiding out, but just actually just resting so that you are taking carefully scheduled resting breaks from social life and from work life, to just like you're not even like exercising or you're just kind of like sitting you're just kind of sitting there.
Great.
And so you're going to need like quite a bit of that. Like you need to schedule that
Okay,
in order to
that's so helpful.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
integrate all the change.
Mm.
And it's not like,
Cool.
like when you do a lot and then you sort of have these recovery days where you can't even function. It's not like that. It's just like, okay, I'm doing really good and I'm going to schedule in a pause for myself
Mm.
because I am going through a lot and I need to integrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm nodding my head here. Like
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
I would
that's
think
okay.
this will go on for almost this really positive stream will go on almost through the end of the year, like till fall, and then something else will start to change and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be something different, but you can really relax into the next multiple months are positive.
Oh,
So,
great. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. Well, Erin, yeah, so have trust it, build the
Mm-hmm.
brakes in so you're not overextending, and don't be surprised if by late fall things shift in a different way, but you don't need to worry about that or even have concern about that. So I think I'll let you go because I've got another caller,
Yeah,
but
thank you so much.
glad to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's an idea. The person, worked on a lot of stuff, and then sort of like what what they are seeking is seeking them now, right? So this is a good example for all of us. What we're seeking is seeking us. And let's go to the phones, and we have Monique from Seattle. Monique, welcome to the program.
Thank you. And I happen to be driving and listening to your program, so I'm not really familiar too much with what you do, but I do need help, and I hope
Okay.
your intuition will guide me. So it's sort of a medical question to see where it's going to go. My husband and I are in our 80s, and I've had some vision problems for quite a while, and I thought I had resolved it by surgery about a year ago, and it turned out something went wrong with the surgery, and I just found out about it, and I'm just all of a sudden the surgeon who said he was going to redo the surgery has kind of disappeared, and I'm just really panicky because I have done so much in the last 3 years trying
Oh,
to, regain. So I don't know what intuitively. It's possible that he's just taking his time to come back to me. I'm so overwhelmed. And I've done so many things for the last 3 years, including, partial transplant and all that. So what, if you have any intuition as to where this is going, it's possible that he's going to call me in 2 weeks and he's going to do the surgery. I just feel really weird about it.
Yeah, Monique, and just be careful also while you're driving. Just, just
Oh,
relax.
no, I'm
And
not driving. I'm parked. I'm parked.
oh, good, good, good. Okay, I'm like, don't do it while you're driving. Okay, yeah. It
No.
really feels like sometimes things are like not about us. It feels like whatever's going on with this physician is about them, not about you. So I would make plans to, you know what I mean? Like they may have something going on in their life that you don't know anything about and you won't know anything about. But if it were me, I feel like the physician is having some stuff that maybe makes them not the best candidate to do work with you, and I would look for somebody else actually, even though that's challenging and difficult. And it feels like
Very complicated. It's very complicated.
yeah,
It's highly technical, and you don't just find them on the internet. It's
yep,
really.
no, I get that, but I feel like this, I don't know, it almost feels like they got overstressed, not by you. This isn't, their situation isn't about you, but you're being affected. So looking at it this way, I would just see who else might be showing up. Sometimes the universe will block us from one thing so that we're forced to do something else that's more beneficial. And I feel like that's kind of the situation for you.
I was wondering whether he told me that Medicare would cover the new surgery. But
Yeah,
I was
that's
wondering
outside
whether.
that. Yeah, that's outside my ability to
I
look
know that.
at.
I was
Yeah.
wondering whether that could be keeping him from.
No, this is
Oh,
about something personal for that person. It's not about you. And anyway, so go with it from that idea that like for some reason this is blocked. You got to find something else, and just go ahead and do that. And also just in general, like there's no, like you can relax. There's no reason to get, even though there's so many details and it seems so hard, that when you're in a flow state, things are going to work out easily. And the fastest way to get into this flow state is to really relax and not get too up and down about anything, and trust. And I feel like that's actually part of the reason that there's been all this delay. The universe is saying, you need to just connect with us. You need to connect with yourself and carry that connection into all aspects of your life. You're sort of your energy is very hyped up, and you want to really bring yourself to a different understanding of how things can be. Anyway, Monique, I'm going to let you go but I think it's like all wrapped up. There's no need to be anxious. You can relax, calm down, and trust. And that is actually the bigger lesson more than anything else.
okay.
So anyway, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah, thanks
you
for
so
calling
much.
in. I appreciate your call. Thank you. Yeah, everybody, when we think about our lifespan, whether we have a little time left or a long time left, who knows? Even regardless of what age, I guess if you're 109, you can probably count on having a short lifespan, but if you're 80 or 70 or 60, 50 or 40, who knows how long? We don't know. So really taking the time to get to know how to manage our energy, how to manage our anxiety, and how to trust the universe is moving us through this lifetime so that we're going to learn our soul lessons, and everything that's coming in is an opportunity for us to practice on the soul lessons that we're here to learn. For some people, the soul lesson might be on stepping out of anxiety and learning how to relax. For other people, the lesson might be a lifetime of never being able to trust and finally learning how to do that, starting with ourselves. For other people, we might have been so wounded and getting to a place of getting to the root of the wound and releasing that. For other people, so much trauma has happened and we have to get under there and come back to ourselves from that place. So this idea of everything being soul lesson, and any time you're feeling that sense of agitation or anger or anxiety or unsettled nature, it's really a question of why is this, from without me? Maybe you're picking somebody else's vibe up, or is this from within me? And if it's from within me, where is it formed? Where did it start? And wouldn't you love, as a soul, regardless of how old you are, wouldn't you love to get that cleared and refreshed and revitalized and released for good? Wouldn't you love to do that? And that's why you're here. You're here to get all the residue, all the residue of wounding. You're here to get that released and get to a new understanding of yourself and the universe outside of wounding and outside of trauma. So if you would like to learn more, there's so much to this practice, and yet it's so easy to start. If you'd like to learn how to work in spiritual intuition, which is what I teach, please go to the website, SARAWISEMAN.com, look under training for our spring offering, or look under courses for some low-cost courses that will help you get started on this path of clearing and releasing and connecting to the universe. Everybody, thanks for listening. I'm SARA WISEMAN, and you'll find me at SARAWISEMAN.com.
All right, we're clear. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.